I'm Dr. Joe Esposito, and welcome to our podcast, For the Health of It. Remember to subscribe to our podcasts, and I'll help you naturally get well and stay well.
The information presented on this program is not intended to take the place of your personal physician's advice, and it is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Discuss this information with your own physician or healthcare provider to determine what is right for you.
Are you suffering needlessly? Dr. Joe can give you advice on how to naturally get well and stay well. Dr. Joe Esposito.
What we're talking about today are things that you're doing to ruin your health. There are things that you're doing that you might not even realize that are happening, that are having an adverse effect on every aspect of your health. And so I want to talk more about that because it seems to be a very popular topic because it's just little tidbits and people like these little lists, 10 things you're doing, 12 things you're doing. Well, there's a lot of things you're doing to ruin your health. So we talked, last time we talked about not getting enough sleep, making sure you wash your hands, make sure you're getting vitamin D, make sure you're not lonely. Socializing is a really important aspect. We are gregarious creatures. We like to be around other people and the neurotransmitters that are produced when we're around other people. And so we covered that earlier. I want to continue on. And something I've always done this, way before COVID or anything, I never like to touch shopping carts because I always don't know what was there. And so what I always did, and I still do, is I have some rags in my car, and I always just take it and put it on the handle and, wheel around the grocery store because you can sanitize it. A lot of grocery stores have these sanitizing, wipes now, which is good, but I want to cover the whole thing. And I think that's just something that's important that you can do. And so I just carry rags in my car. And then when I do laundry, I wash my masks and I wash my cart handle things and everything. And I've never really talked about that before. It's just something I've always done, and it's probably not a bad idea. Other things that you're doing every single day that adversely affect your health is you're weakening or blowing out your immune system. And this is so important because the immune system, not just for quick diseases, current diseases, let's say flu or COVID or something like that, but long-term diseases, autoimmune diseases. So the two things I want you to stay away from, and I've used this in just about every show I've ever done, I want you to stay away from wheat and dairy products. Wheat and dairy products just cause so much inflammation in the body and really weaken the immune system. Sugar, when I say wheat, it could be breads, cookies, cakes, donuts, pastas, all types of sugar really weakens the immune system. And so cutting out sugar is going to be the key. Now, here's the thing with cutting out sugar. You got to get it out of the house. If you have sugar in the house, chances are that you're going to eat it. It's so easy and so quick and so much fun to have a cookie or a donut or some ice cream. But if it's not in the house, chances are you're not going to eat it. So when patients come in our office and we do nutrition evaluations, I like when couples come because it's, I want to explain everything to both people. And usually the other partner becomes the next patient. Is that if we're going to do a nutrition evaluation, everybody in the house has to play. Because, I've been vegan for 35 years now. If there's vegan, gluten-free cookies in the house, I want to eat them. I know better, but I still want to eat them. If they're not in the house, then I'll say, what do I got? I got some grapes. I'll have some of that, maybe some grapefruit. I'll have some apples. I'll have some frozen mangoes. I'll whip it into a smoothie. I eat what's there. So getting the bad food out of the house is so key. Now, people ask me all the time, what supplements should I take for my immune system? The supplements that I take for my immune system are Super Greens and Essential Source, which are the minimum supplements everybody should take. They're 2 powders. I mix them together with some coconut milk, almond milk, water. They taste great. That's the starter kit. I then take vitamin D every day. I take probiotics every day. And I take glutathione every day. All of those are available on the website, drjoe.com. Now, you can come see us at any of our offices. We have offices in Marietta, Duluth, Stockbridge, and West Cobb, the Atlanta area. Love to have you come in and pick up the supplements for 2 reasons. 1, we want to meet you. And number 2, it saves you money. You don't have to pay for shipping. Now, we're happy to ship it. It's not very expensive. It's only a couple of bucks to ship it. So if for convenience-wise, we're happy to ship it to you. But if you can stop by, feel free to do so. Check the website. Check for the hours. The different offices are open at different times. And you can come by and pick up the supplements. But Super Green, Essential Source, D, probiotics, and glutathione, that's my immune protocol. Now, we have 2 other supplements as well, and I don't talk about them much, but I really should because they're some of the best supplements we have. It's Dr. Joe's Seasonal Tonic and Dr. Joe's Wellness Booster. Now, the Wellness Booster is Echinacea, Pau d'Arco, olive leaf extract, and it helps stimulate white blood cell production. I take that very often in the winter, just to keep my immune system strong. Now, if I start feeling under the weather, if I start feeling sick, which doesn't happen very often, we have something called Dr. Joe's Seasonal Tonic. And that's ginger, horseradish, cayenne pepper, onion, and garlic pureed in an apple cider vinegar. It tastes the way it sounds. Very strong. Tastes like a really strong salad dressing. But let me tell you, I have flight attendants and pilots, people that are really stressing their immune system all the time. They can't travel without this stuff. And for a while, it was out of stock. It's back in stock. So the Wellness Booster and the Seasonal Tonic, you should have those at your house anyway. And again, the Wellness Booster you can take every day. The Seasonal Tonic you can take every day if you want to, but I take it if I start feeling under the weather. Amazing. I mean, they're pretty powerful. Just brace yourself. And it says a dosage. You can take more than what the dosage is recommended because it's food. And so she's eating a little more food. I have to put a dosage on there because, the government says we have to put a dosage on there. But you can take more than that if you need to. And so those are all on the website, drjoe.com. Another thing that has come about in this new world that we live in is we're not getting enough exercise. We're not keeping our body in motion. Now, if you don't like going to the gym, I don't like going to the gym. I find it boring. I find a lot of people that are super high energy sometimes get bored at the gym. Just do something. Clean your house. Go outside. I have a stream in my backyard, and a while ago we had a big storm, and it changed the whole course of the stream and the rocks and everything like that. So I've been out there a lot just moving rocks around. That's a good exercise. When I was in high school, I was the biggest guy on my football team, and we were county champions, and I was the biggest guy on the team. And I remember I'd work out. I'd jog from my house to my uncle's house, and then my uncle and I would lift weights in his garage. We didn't have gyms back then. And my grandfather, German immigrant, big mountain of a man, I remember him looking at me one day and saying, "Ugh, you want muscles? Here's a shovel. Go dig a hole." Very profound statement. Here's a shovel. Go dig a hole. Those are practical muscles. Those are muscles that you use in every day. I'm not going to bench press a lot of things in my life. I mean, it gives me muscles, of course. It makes me look good and helps build muscle mass, which is important. But practical muscles are just as important. So if you have the opportunity to garden, if you have the opportunity to clean your house, if you have the opportunity to sweep, get out there and do that. Those are also exercises. And you see the results. I'm big on results. So I like to garden. I look at my garden. I said, "Oh, look at that. I did that." And then toward the end of the season, I can only eat so many tomatoes, and I'm sick of them. And figs. So I got this huge fig tree. But get out there and keep the body in motion. It's really important. If you have a desk job, what I want you to do is this. I want you to set your timer on your computer, your clock, whatever it is. And every hour, I want you to stand up and I want you to do 30 seconds of activity. 30 seconds is all I want. And the best activity that you can do in a short amount of time is something called a cross crawl. Now, the way this works is like this. The right side of your brain controls the left side of your body. Left side of your brain controls the right side of your body. So we should integrate our brain using both sides of the body. Unfortunately, what we usually do is we segregate our brains. We use one side of the brain more than the other. What does that mean? I'm right-handed. So I'm going to write with my right hand. I'm going to brush my teeth with my right hand. I'm going to start my car with my right hand. I'm going to work my mouse with my right hand. I'm using the right side of my body, or the left side of my brain, more than I'm using the left side of my body and the right side of my brain. So by integrating both sides of the brain, you'll be amazed how much more energy you'll have. Your balance should improve. Your brain function should improve. And all you got to do is march in place. And what this looks like is stand up at your desk, bring your left elbow to your right knee, and your right elbow then to your left knee. Left elbow, right knee, right elbow, left knee. Integrating the brain. I do this when I work with sports, professional athletes, amateur athletes. I have them work the other side of their body, like tennis players. I've worked with 8 Wimbledon champions in my life, plus a lot of other tennis players. Always right-sided if they're right-handed. Hold a racket in the other hand and just bounce the ball off the wall with your left hand. Now, you're not going to do very well. It's not competition, but you're going to use the other side of the brain. And so there's so many things about the brain that I teach my doctors and my patients that the brain is just oftentimes ignored. You have pain covered up. Well, why is it? I had a patient come in the other day, and he was hunched over, so he hunched over and he lifted his head up so he could see. Well, he started getting dizzy and falling forward. Went to a neurologist. It wasn't Parkinson's. It's called a festinating gait, and he didn't have Parkinson's, so they came to me. And I said, okay, when did this start? Well, as soon as he started to shrink, the wife was telling me, he started to shrink, and that's when the dizziness occurred. The falling forward occurred. So what he did is when he brought his head back, he was pinching what's called the brain stem and putting pressure on the occiput, and the occiput is putting pressure on the cerebellum. Cerebellum is part of the brain that controls balance. So because he was constantly looking up, because he was getting older and shrinking, and he had to look up to see, once we got his posture straightened out and brought his occiput down away from his cerebellum, the festinating gait stopped. And so I've seen this many times before. That's why I knew I can tell you what's going to happen. And so many times the brain function is ignored. The physical aspect of health is ignored. So often we try to treat the body chemically when in reality we need to treat the physical part. Structurally, neck pain, back pain, shoulder pain is usually caused by bones out of place pinching nerves. That's physical. There's not a drug in the world that's going to put a bone back in place. Chiropractic care can put the bone back in place. And that's why chiropractic is the most effective, least expensive treatment for back pain in most cases. So why wouldn't you go to a chiropractor, a quality chiropractor, there's a lot of bad ones out there, a quality chiropractor, and get the best care possible for pain? And if it's not the end-all be-all, we can always escalate the care. We can do injections, we can do PRP, stem cells, exosomes, medical intervention, nerve blocks. But let's start with the simple and the least expensive. So if you have a health issue, neck pain, back pain, shoulder pain, headaches, numbness, tingling, digestive issues, nutritional concerns, make an appointment to come see us. We have offices in Marietta, Duluth, Stockbridge, and West Cobb in the Atlanta area, and we would love to be your doctors. So you can go right now, go to the website, drjoe.com. You can book an appointment right online, or you can call us. We're more than happy to answer any questions for you. We accept almost every insurance out there. Car accidents, hey, if you're ever in a car accident, folks, if the car is damaged, you're damaged. I've never seen it any other way. You need to come see us. drjoe.com, book an appointment. Stop suffering needlessly. Biggest complaint I get, why didn't I do this sooner? Why did I wait so long? And the longer you wait, the harder it is to fix these things. So don't make my job harder and don't make your suffering more when all you have to do is just come see us. It's very simple. drjoe.com. Another issue I've seen with patients is that they exercise too much. Now, I knew a gal years ago, a very nice looking gal, and she worked out. She was in great shape. And it got to the point where exercise became her life. She would run 20 miles on a Tuesday night just for fun and then do yoga classes. Well, years later, I ran into her at an event, and I didn't even recognize her. She looked so old. She put so much stress on her body that the body actually started to age. So it was too much exercise. It's not often done, but I've seen it. And also, don't exercise too hard if you hurt yourself. If you have an injury and you try to work through the pain, not a good idea. I saw a movie the other day. What was it? Brittany Runs a Marathon was the name of the movie, I think it was. And it was a story of a girl who was overweight and she got so hooked on exercise, she couldn't stop exercising. She actually fractured her leg, stress fracture, and she couldn't exercise anymore. And it was just a nice little feel-good movie. But it was a good point. You can overdo it too. So if you injure yourself, you want to come see us. And here's the thing with athletes. I see this all the time. You can have a bone out of place, and then you build up strong muscles around it. So you're building up strong muscles around crooked bones. I want you building up strong muscles around straight bones. There's a difference. So I have athletes come in all the time, and they're hurting themselves because the bones are out of place. We put everything back in place, they're going to get a much better workout, a safer workout, an easier workout with less risk of being hurt. So if you're an athlete, I don't know, if I was Grand Poobah of the universe, I think everyone should get a spinal evaluation on a regular basis to make sure there's no pinched nerves. Because remember, 90% of the nerves don't feel pain. So I believe that everyone should get a spinal evaluation. It's going to prevent a lot of other issues. And I truly believe this is the missing link in healthcare. If we can get the nervous system working, the digestive system working, your diet straightened out, I truly believe we would totally turn around healthcare, the health of health of the world. We'd save so much money. We'd probably live longer. We'd be a whole lot healthier, a whole lot happier. Love life would improve. Home life would improve. Job would improve. I don't see any downside to being healthy. And I've been in practice long enough now to see where people used to go to chiropractors because they had pain. Now they're coming to see us with festinating gaits, with digestive issues, with brain issues, early signs of Parkinson's, neurological issues, brain zaps. We were talking about those earlier. And our clinic, all my doctors are handpicked by me. They're trained by me, and they're my personal doctors. If I don't trust my doctors taking care of my friends, my family, my loved ones, I don't trust them taking care of you. And it's a real challenge we have getting doctors good enough to meet our standards. I had a guy come in a couple of months ago. He lasted about 4 or 5 days. Couldn't hack it. It was way above his brain function. I said, no, this is not your average, I got a sore neck clinic. This is where we get way beyond that, to getting to the cause of the problem and not just treating the symptoms. So if you're serious about wanting to get well, I would recommend any one of my doctors. So you can go to our website, drjoe.com, book an appointment right now, stop suffering. And if you're an athlete, absolutely positively you should be getting chiropractic evaluations so you don't do more harm than good. So many athletes, you've seen them, even professional athletes, amateur athletes. You went to high school with these guys and girls. They were in amazing shape, and now you look at them, they look like a Humpty Dumpty. They hurt themselves. They couldn't keep working out. They kept eating the bad foods that they did, thinking they can still burn those calories. It just didn't work. So too much exercise or the wrong exercise can be an issue. Another thing I see a lot of people do is they drink alcohol. And alcohol is one of my 7 deadly sins. But a hangover isn't only over-imbibing that can make you sick. Alcohol breaks down into acetaldehyde, and that's a very potent toxin. In excess, acetaldehyde inhibits the lungs' ability to sweep microbes out of the body. Common cold, lung infections. We've had a little issues with lung infections lately, right? So just one night of heavy drinking is enough to significantly impair your immune system. So how much alcohol is too much? In my opinion, any. But according to the CDC, the American Cancer Society, men should have no more than 2 drinks, or a woman 1 drink a day. Still think that's a little much. Here's my rule on drinking. If you're going to drink alcohol, for every 1 drink that you have, you need to have 3 glasses of water. Because alcohol shuts down the production of a chemical in your brain, antidiuretic hormone it's called, or vasopressin. Vasopressin prevents you from peeing too much. So when you drink alcohol, it shuts down vasopressin. Vasopressin allows the body to flush the alcohol out of the system, makes you pee. So you have to rehydrate your body. There's also another trick. I haven't given you this secret in a long time, and I probably shouldn't. But there's an herb, or spice. It's called cardamom. Cardamom comes in little pods. It's oftentimes used in Indian food. And cardamom, when you break open the pod, has these little tiny black seeds in there. They look like poppy seeds. And this is an Ayurvedic trick. Ayurveda is the study of medicine from India. If you take about 5 of these little tiny seeds out of the pod and chew them with your first drink, you're less likely to get a hangover. Now, it's from Ayurvedic medicine. I'm not sure of the mechanism as to why it works, but it's a neat little trick. And I remember when I was in college, if I'd go to other colleges for other parties and stuff, I remember going to University of Georgia, and I would take cardamom seeds with me, and I became the guy with the seeds. And I'd give them out, and people would, drink and imbibe, and the next day they didn't feel as bad. So I'm not saying you should drink, but if you do, cardamom seeds, about 5 seeds, and then 3 glasses of water for every drink that you have. At least you can mitigate some of the damage. I also recommend you take a dose of Super Greens and Essential Source before you go out, and a Super Greens and Essential Source when you come home, and another dose the next day. And that's going to help mitigate a lot of that damage that you're doing from the alcohol. I'm a realist. I understand people are going to drink. If you're going to drink, at least stop the damage. So these are things that people are doing to hurt themselves. If you travel a lot on public transportation, that can be a big issue too, and it kind of goes along with my shopping cart thing. That there's a lot of they're never really cleaned that well, so it's a good idea not to touch public things as much as you can. I like to wear shirts that I don't tuck in, and so if I have a door handle or something, I'll use my shirt to open it with. Again, it's not necessarily being a germaphobe, it's just being smart. Another thing that people do to hurt their bodies on a regular basis is they eat too much sugar. Now, sugar causes inflammation, and that, of course, weakens the immune system, like we talked about. It weakens the white blood cells. Now, in my book, Prescription for Extreme Health, it's on the website, drjoe.com, we talk about the mechanism of how sugar weakens the white blood cells and how 1 can of soda can really blow out your immune system for hours and hours and hours. And if you're doing this every day, it's not something you want to keep doing. American Heart Association recommends men eat no more than 9 teaspoons of sugar per day and women no more than 6. The average American eats 15 teaspoons of sugar a day, double what they should. 1 can of soda is your whole daily allowance of sugar if you drink soda. And that means breads, cookies, cakes, donuts, pastas. That's all sugar too. So reduce your consumption of sugars. If you like beverages that have bubbles in them, you can get soda now sweetened with stevia, Stevia. Z's is one of the brand names. Zevia. I'm sorry, Z's is another one. Zevia is another one. And they're sweetened with stevia. Now, they taste pretty good, actually. And here's what's going to happen. If you have to have your soda and you switch over to Zevia, let's say, after a few days of drinking Zevia, you're going to try a regular soda. It's going to be way too sweet. Now, you could just drink seltzer water if you want to. That's even better still. But if you have to wean yourself off the soda, try ones that are sweetened with stevia. And give it a few days. You might take a sip and go, oh, it's not as good as the sugary stuff. Give it a few days. And then you can go to that and then cut back to seltzer from there, or club soda. Club soda, by the way, has salt in it. Seltzer doesn't. That's the only difference. So these are little tricks that you can do, and that'll help with your weight as well. Because being overweight really weakens the immune system. It prevents white blood cells from producing antibodies that fight inflammation. And there's an animal study conducted at the University of North Carolina. Researchers found that obese mice were 10 times more likely to die when infected with a flu virus than normal-sized mice. And even with COVID, most of the people that died from COVID, not all, but most, had a pre-existing comorbidity. Comorbidity means something else aside from the main issue. Heart disease, diabetes, cancer, obesity. So we're in a world right now, we don't know what the next wave is going to be. Maybe there won't be, maybe there will. But now is the time more than ever to keep your body as healthy as possible. And cutting out that sugar and reducing the weight is key. If you don't know how to lose weight or you're having trouble, we have a 21-day program that we put out patients on. It's on the website, drjoe.com. Just type in 21-day weight loss. And you can, it's a 21-day protocol, get you on supplements, get you on shakes, and it kind of resets the brain. Because when you're overweight, it's not your stomach, it's your brain. And it gives you a chance for your brain to reboot, and then we get you on the regular, normal protocol of fruits and vegetables and nuts and seeds and good supplements and things like this. But if you need a jump start, the 21-day protocol is just awesome. I highly recommend it. It's relatively inexpensive, and it's your food anyway. Instead of buying food, you're doing this, and so it's really great. So I would recommend that. If you have any questions, you always call the office. We're more than happy to talk to you about that. Another issue that people are doing is they're exposing themselves to antibiotics. Where do you get antibiotics? Dr. Joe, I don't take antibiotics. I'm not any prescriptions. Most animal products out there, commercial animal products, are loaded with antibiotics. They give the animals antibiotics to prevent infection. You eat them, gets into your system. Little bit over time can kill off the good bacteria in your colon, weaken the immune system. Chlorine from chlorinated water acts like an antibiotic. And so that's why I have a filter in my house and I don't drink chlorinated water if I can avoid it, because it can kill off the good bacteria in my colon. So this is another reason why you want to cut out your meat and your dairy products, your animal products, because chances are they're going to have antibiotics in them. Now, if you're going to eat animal products, which you shouldn't, but if you do, make sure they're organic. Make sure you're drinking enough water. It's so important. You should be able to pee clear. If your pee isn't clear, unless you're taking B vitamins, you're not drinking enough water. And also something as simple as your cell phone. Please wipe down your cell phone on a daily basis. We have all these handy wipes and everything everywhere, wipes now that are available. Please wipe down your cell phone. You're breathing on it, you're touching it, you're spitting on it. It's a good idea to wipe it down. So, folks, I'm almost out of time. If you have any questions, send them to me through the website, drjoe.com. I'm more than happy to answer your questions. But the best thing you can do is just make an appointment to come see us. We have offices in Marietta, Duluth, Stockbridge, and West Cobb, the Atlanta area. We want to be your doctors. We accept almost all insurances, car accidents, sports injuries. Stop suffering. Biggest complaint I get is what? Why didn't I do this sooner? So if you want to make an appointment, drjoe.com. Follow us on social media. Please do this. I need you to do this. At Dr. Joe Esposito. All the supplements we talked about also on the website, drjoe.com. I'm Dr. Joe Esposito. Tell your friends about the show. Thanks for listening to For the Health Bit. Remember to subscribe to this podcast, and I'll help you naturally get well and stay well. You can also listen to and call into my radio show live Sunday evenings from 7 to 9 Eastern Time on WSBRadio.com and on a WSB Radio app.